How's everyone doing? Welcome. Thank you for attending and being one of our panelists. So the purpose of this mastermind is really to bring together the community and leverage the wisdom of the crowds. I know all of you have been panelist speakers at other crypto conferences, and before the pandemic, we'd all be there in person. So the format of these masterminds is really to bring attention to your work, share what you're working on, build some awesome connections, and ultimately give value to others. So the masterminds are typically an hour long. We're going to go around and everybody will have 2 minutes to talk, and then another 2 minutes of feedback and questions from anybody in the group. The three things we want you to highlight are quick introduction, who are you and what are you currently working on? What are you most excited about in the blockchain and crypto industry? And third thing would be, is there anything that the community can help you with? And so maybe Ivan, would you like to go first and kind of give an example of round robin?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Jeff. So just a quick introduction. My name is Ivan. I'm one of the co-founders here at Crowdcreate. What am I working on? Actually, these masterminds. We've actually found that there's so much benefit from the crypto community just around, people always ask me this, hey, what's the latest project, or what's going on with Celsius, and what's going on with DealBox? And there's just so much potential here to just get the news out from the founders themselves and the creators. So that's what I'm working on, is just developing these masterminds across many verticals. What am I most excited about in 2021? Getting back to normal life, if that's possible. It's so interesting seeing other countries kind of going ahead of us in the US, but yeah, vaccines, definitely looking forward to that. How can the community help me and help us? It's just, hey, if you know great speakers, we're all blockchain enthusiasts here, that would, add to the narrative. I know there's a lot of projects going on right now and people just, need to know. And there's so much misinformation out there that it's important to get the right context from the founders themselves. So kind of that's our platform that we're building and what I'm really excited about.
All right. Would love Alex Mashinsky, Celsius, returning panelist to our mastermind, and would love to hear on everything that's going on and follow you religiously. So
yeah, thanks guys. So Celsius Network, I'm one of the founders. We just crossed 6 billion in assets, about 320,000 customers. Just torrent growth, just amazing growth. And I guess paying interest to people is something that the banks just forgot how to do. So we're bringing that back. I think we have 7 billion customers that can raise their hand and say, yeah, I'll take some of that. And that's really the opportunity. I think doing that on layer 2, working with other projects to kind of scale that up and be able to serve hundreds of millions of customers that are still kind of confused about DeFi, CeFi, all that stuff is definitely one of the big opportunities. And we're really excited about the future. I think we're just getting started, we meaning the community. And, we have like a zealot group of several million people, but most of the people in the world have no clue what we're doing. So my ask for everybody who's watching this is really, again, I see a lot of bickering inside the community. Oh, you're not pure DeFi. Oh, you're not pure whatever. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is, can you bring people from the outside, people that still get 0.1% from their bank, into our community? That's all that matters.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Does anybody from the group have any questions or just feedback for Alex?
Actually, no, Jay, you're also working on layer 2 things right now. So I think that's a good match there.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Alex, one of our poll questions that we're going to have later on is actually on user adoption and what is the primary method of acquiring users. You've done a phenomenal job, 6 billion under assets. I personally referred out, but yeah, what has attributed your success to growth at Celsius, would you say?
Yeah, so we have not found any advertising or any kind of like promotions to work at all. I mean, most of our customers come from word of mouth, referrals. So we use a lot of promo codes. We use a lot of kind of community events. We do an AMA every week. And I think acting in the best interest of your customers, like proving that, right? Proving that with your actions. For example, we pay your withdrawal fee. So if you want to try Celsius out, you don't like us, we'll pay you to take your money back to Binance, or take it back to Coinbase or whatever. So doing things like that, that basically prove to the suspicious, like a guy who's using Citibank, that, okay, it's worth a try. Let me put $100 and $100 and see what happens, So I think, you've seen that with Binance. I think they've done a great job when they launched, and now they're taking home $1 billion a year in net income. We're paying that to the community, right? We pay $265 million to the community, right? So I think, again, the more you do that, the more you're going to have adoption. It's a question of just who are you acting in the best interest of, yourself or your customers?
Awesome. Well, thanks, Alex. Wendy, if you'd like to go next, I know that you're a Celsian and user of the platform and speak highly of it as well.
Yeah, so Alex, I love your guys' platform, and TikTok loves Celsius as well. We're starting to get some more, I get asked all the time, and I probably make about 2 videos a day talking about different on-ramps to buy, sell, trade cryptocurrency. And I love to use Celsius as an example because you guys do more Bitcoin or cryptocurrency back than the 0.01% that the banks are doing. And that's appealing for everyone. So yeah. And then do you want me to tell everyone about myself or?
Yeah, quick
okay.
introduction. What are you working on?
Oh my God, I'm working on 9 million things right now. So I go by Crypto Wendy Oh on social media because it's just a fun name to go by. And I do a lot of stuff. I have a YouTube channel that I cover daily news. I do a little bit of trading. I do a lot of educational stuff. And I'm on every single social media platform possible. But really, I do a lot of work on the back end. I do some influencer marketing where I'm able to help companies come up with transparent marketing tactics, help them with some business development ideas, because there does seem to be a lack of communication in crypto. We're used to a lot of this really heavy tech blockchain stuff, but I feel like sometimes we forget about customer service, how important that is, especially when we're onboarding brand new people and they have no idea what they're doing. I get a lot of questions on TikTok. Wendy, what's a private key? Is it okay that I keep my stuff on Coinbase? Is it safe here? Is it safe there? How do I do this? So I feel like education is very important, getting the message out to people, but also helping blockchain companies really express their mission in layman's terms to the average person. Because if you look at it, we've got a lot of folks that are in crypto, are starting to come into crypto, and they're not familiar with what blockchain technology and whatnot is. For what am I most excited about 2021? I'm excited about doing more educational stuff and helping more brands grow and reach, the underdogs. I grew up in, poor, lower middle class. So I'm happy to kind of bridge that gap and kind of help companies and myself and reach that demographic and really help people understand the importance of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And how can I help the community? By just talking about different brands that I like and give them tips and tricks on how to get started in crypto in a very safe way, and of course never invest more than you can afford to lose.
That's awesome. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, if we want to open it up, anybody have any feedback or questions for Wendy?
How long have you been doing this?
So I got into crypto end of November 2017 or end of 2017, and I lost a lot of money because I had no idea what the heck was going on. I initially heard about Bitcoin in like 2011, but I was like, I'm not smart enough to do this. I can't do that. But I just started, I kind of applied the skills that I learned working in infectious disease and coordinating patient care of 200 plus patients and helping them kind of figure out complex things in the healthcare system. So I've been able to apply those skills to, doing marketing and branding and partnerships, communication, business development for a lot of companies that need the little help, especially with customer service. That is my specialty.
Just that we have 15% or less women in crypto. So it's a huge problem. that if we don't solve it, we're just not going to scale, right? So we not, what Wendy's doing, what others, like we need to encourage, make it safe for women to join our community and not be so techy and geeky that they all look at us like, oh my God, what do these guys want? So we all have to work on that as well.
And I think that's a key thing right there, is maybe hiring more people like myself, or getting more people involved that don't necessarily come from the traditional tech backgrounds that many of you guys come from, and understanding that, if somebody worked in healthcare, or if they worked in customer service, or they have a legal background, or they have a marketing or communications background, they might not necessarily understand Bitcoin or understand blockchain technology, but getting them incorporated and kind of using them as a tool to bridge that gap between the brand and the audience. I feel like that is a great way to go ahead and go about it, because the audience is probably going to relate more to that person than some of the CEOs and stuff. And that's not a knock against anybody, but I think it's a great way to communicate and make not necessarily make people feel safe, but just make them feel like there's somebody that they can relate to.
As an example, we have, since we formed the company, half of our team is women, including the executive suite. So you can't just talk about it, right? You got to do it. And you got to give up. Most of our team are non-blockchain or crypto people, right? So it just proves that you want to be successful, you don't need to bring everybody who's with you in Puerto Rico,
I love that. Thanks, Alex. And love to introduce Daniel. He's with BlockCard, which is another project, with the on-ramp to get people onto crypto. And reading on your website, buying and spending cryptocurrency is easier than ever with Ternio BlockCard. So Daniel, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, so company is Ternio, and so we white label our technology to other fintechs, but really it's about cryptocurrency can be difficult. So BlockCard is a solution we have for consumers that we offer, and you can spend your crypto on a Visa card. We're one of the 12 Visa Fast Track partners in the United States that does card issuance. And really what we're building is like an interoperability between traditional banking solutions where you have a bank account, you can ACH or wire in money, you have a debit card, bill pay, things like that, buy crypto, sell crypto. We want to make it as seamless as possible to get in and out and to make it kind of real world operable. And that has many functions. It's not just Bitcoin, but it's literally utilizing the cryptocurrencies, whether it's stable tokens, just to send money to a friend or someone across the world. It's about using the technology as I think it's going to be. And I think it really is the future of how everyone engages in money.
That's awesome. And Daniel, what are you most excited about in this upcoming year?
2021? Oh, well, for us or for the industry?
For the industry, right.
I think it's getting very real right now. Up until what I worried about in the past was a lot of stuff built on speculation and a lot of people on YouTube promoting stuff, and maybe they're taking money and they're not saying it, and you got a lot of kind of disaligned interest between the people who are trying to learn about cryptocurrency and about the people who are promoting it. And I feel like we've matured as an industry at the point where we're starting to see like real world adoption. And like you see Celsius, I'm like the biggest fan of what Alex is doing just as a human being, not only a CEO. But really, I just think that the maturity of the industry is coming, and really you see it because the rest of the world, all of the governments are taking this stuff so seriously. It tells you we've really arrived. That's what I'm the most excited about, I think, 2021.
That's awesome. Daniel, is there anything that we can do to help you at BlockCard? Like, what are you working on right now that?
I hate talking about I like talking about the industry more than anything, but I really don't like to do that as much. But if anybody's interested, get blockcard.com. There you go. That's fine.
Daniel, we're looking for a card partner. So I just changed my name to my email. Shoot me a message and we'll see if we can partner up.
Yeah. No problem. And I've talked to Jeremy before. He's here in Atlanta. So.
Love it. Any other questions or feedback for Daniel? All right. Matthew, you've seen a lot of projects. I know that you've invested in quite a bit, and congrats on all your success. I would love to hear from you from the kind of a top level of everything that's going on in the industry.
Well, thanks a lot, Jeffrey, and it's great to see a lot of familiar faces on this panel. Let's see, what do we do? We're primarily investors. So Blockchain Co-Investors is the leading blockchain venture fund of funds, and we're investors in 20 of the blockchain VCs around the world. So people like Hashkey and Blockchain Capital and Castle Island and so on. And through them, we are investors in about 200 or 250 blockchain companies and projects. And our goal is primarily to raise capital and allocate the capital into this space. So we're primarily investors. What are we most excited about this year? I agree with Daniel. I think this year feels like a big shift. We got started in 2013 in this space. Alice and I, after 20 years doing internet and fintech investing, and every day was difficult. You had to explain a new technology, a new concept of digital monies and digital assets, and a new way of building on these technologies. And every meeting, most people didn't understand or were naysayers or were not interested and supportive. And that made life sort of a bit complicated and difficult. And we wrote books, which people can find online, to try and demystify it, but it was still pushing a rock uphill. And I feel like last year is the year when the rock's now running downhill. Everything's so much easier, from the world's governments to the biggest institutions and companies, to the world's best investors. Everyone is now trying to get into this space that all of us on this panel have been in for a long time now. So I feel like it's a tipping point. So that's probably what I'd say. And then in terms of help needed, the one thing we're trying to do at Blockchain Co-Investors, we're trying to figure out how to democratize access to the best deals. To date, you would need to be a qualified client investor to invest in our funds. And so we've activated an AngelList syndicate with Lou Kerner, who a lot of you know, I know from Crypto Oracle and Flight VC. And anyone can participate, or it's a lot easier to participate at AngelList for those of you who are interested. And we're looking for great projects also to post on our syndicate at AngelList. And I did post that into the chat. And then the last thing I'll say, Jeff, if it's okay, there's another mission which I know a lot of people are very passionate about, and that's the Sustainable Clean Climate Mission. And wearing my Chairman Universal Protocol Alliance hat, we've just launched Universal Carbon, which is the first easily accessible RED+ carbon token. So that's a mouthful, but it basically means that if you've got a digital wallet or a digital exchange, you can now provide tokenized carbon credits to your customers. And we're looking for partners. So, I'm not asking you to go and buy Universal Carbon. I'm asking you to open up your wallet or your exchange and make yourselves carbon negative, which is actually a good thing. It means you use less carbon and you have a better carbon footprint. So if anyone's interested in that, any wallet, any exchange, UPCO2 is available for you, and we think it can be good for you, but it'd be good for the planet too. And that's the other thing I posted into the chat. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Awesome. Thanks, Matthew. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Hey Matthew, I do have a question. How can the wallet working with you, like how can a wallet to help your carbon business grow?
So the UPCO2, which is called Universal Carbon, is tokenized carbon credits. So you can think of it as a crypto commodity. It's backed 1-for-1 by a carbon credit. So in that sense, if you have a wallet or an exchange and maybe you've got some stable coins, maybe you've got a gold token or a silver token, this is just one more token for your exchange. But it brings some other benefits. Your exchange and all of your customers and all of your traders also have positive carbon footprints, which is a bad thing. And they, by buying and trading and holding this UPCO2, universal carbon, they're making their own footprints, and your exchange's footprint potentially carbon neutral or better. So that's sort of the spirit of this. There is an argument that the value of carbon credits will go up. Why? Because the governments of the world are encouraging less to be issued, and conversely are making every company buy them. So that should create scarcity and upward pressure on price. But there's also the mission piece of the equation. So if you want to learn more about this, Jay, it's simply a crypto commodity that has a big social purpose, and we're looking for more wallets and exchanges that can also provide it to their users.
Is this carbon token a ERC20 or it
Yes.
has its own? Okay.
Yeah, yes,
Thanks.
all UP Alliance tokens are ERC20. Our gold token are this one. We also created something called Bitcoin Zero, where we put a Bitcoin in the ERC20 wrapper, but we burn enough carbon credits at minting so that Bitcoin Zero is carbon net zero emissions for the rest of its life. So you can buy Bitcoin for I think it's $35,000, or you can buy Bitcoin Zero for $35,200. And for that extra $200, you are negating the negative energy emissions of Bitcoin. And that's
clever.
another product that's available from UP Alliance.
That's clever. Dave, I know you had your hand raised. Did you have a question for Matt?
Yeah, I used the magic hand raise button. So Matthew, super interesting. So you're an LP in a lot of funds, right? So effectively an equity investor in funds that deploy capital for you. What are your opinions about tokenized equities? What are your opinions about also the deployment of the funds that you are invested in investing in equities versus investing in non-equity token projects? And do you have a fund thesis for this? And I know this is a mastermind of its own kind of question here, probably. So.
Well, so it's a great question, Dave. And I wear some other hats. So I am chairman of the UP Alliance, which is a crypto money stablecoin and crypto commodity factory. But I'm also chairman for Europe at Securitize, which is the leading security token platform. And I'm vice chairman of SFOX, which is the leading independent crypto prime dealer. And so to bundle all of that together, Dave, we think all of the world's assets will be digitized in the future. And that will include all funds, all real estate, all private investments, all commodities. Everything will be digitally enabled, in parentheses, tokenized. In the case of our fund of fund, blockchain co-investors, most of our 20 venture partners, Blockchain Capital, Castle Island, One Confirmation, and so on, they will do both. So they're, on average, they're probably about 60% or so equity and 30 or 40% token holdings, liquid token holdings. And oftentimes they'll do both. So they might invest in Polkadot and also get a dot allocation or something like this. In terms of the question of where will this trend, well, we already have digitized funds trading through Securitize. So that would be things like Blockchain Capital's BCAP or Spice's product, or Cosmo. We're investors in Cosmo. They have a tokenized venture fund, but it's raising capital through a tokenized vehicle. It may be deploying capital partially into tokens and partially into equity as cash investments. So it's still a hybrid world. If you ask me to put a duration on this, I'd say it's going to be at least 10 years before most funds are tokenized. And the gating factor there is not actually the technology. Securitize has all the technology already operating. The gating factor is the broad deployment of digital exchanges, ATSs and digital exchanges that can support security tokens. And right now there's very few of those and there's not much liquidity. So, so we're in a transition, but all of you guys, all of us, we're all working in the right space. It's sort of like Mike Moritz of Sequoia says it very well. You know, you've got to be fishing in the right pool to catch the big fish. And we're all in the right pool. You know, we're in the world of digital monies, digital assets, and distributed ledger, and it's the right pool. The second shoe is dropping, and the whole world is moving from an internet of communications to an internet of value, and it's very exciting.
Are we the fish or are we the ones fishing? I got confused for a second.
Well, Alex, you're a really big fish, which is why I'm trying to wind you in to be a member of the UP Alliance. You know that, Alex. So you're a very big fish.
We have to set up a conversation about that. But I'm trying to jump from the pond to the ocean. It's just that I'm not, you know. But yeah.
Yes, but so Dave, it's a great question. We're in a hybrid world, and it's hard to be token only. So most of the funds are hybrids, and they do a bit of both.
That's great. Thank you for that answer.
Dave, that's a great segue for yourself. You're on the same mission for tokenizing these assets. So Dave with Vertalo, love to hear from you.
Yeah, hey guys, great to see new and old friends, including my fantastic client, partner, investor, John Nance from Dealbox. Vertalo is a digital transfer agent. We connect and enable the digital asset ecosystem. We do that primarily via APIs. We help any company take their existing cap table or produce a new cap table through investor onboarding and bring those investors and those issuers onto our platform, where we can basically instantaneously tokenize their equity, debt, or other real world asset and turn it into a programmable asset that can be bought and sold on ATSs and exchanges. We've been doing this for quite some time, and it's very exciting. I mean, for Matthew knows a lot about the space, and so does John, and Alex has been around for a long time, and I can't speak to a lot of the other folks on here, but we're super excited. After we launched our own issuance in 2017, we decided not to do an ICO. We decided to do one of the first, not the first, security tokens. And we issued that in March of 2018. And after we did that, we came out the other side. We said, wow, there's a future. I want to talk about the futures. 2018 was that there was no platform before ours that could actually take that token that was produced by a Securitize or somebody like that and manage it on a cap table. And we were the first company to actually be able to do that and connect primary issuance to secondary trading. Companies like Vertalo and companies like Securitize have been grinding away for several years, working with regulators, and we're very excited about the future. The future being 2021, finally, after several years of hard work by multiple teams, that now the regulators around the world, and primarily in the United States and Singapore, much less so in Europe, but partly in Germany, have now come to the conclusion that the best place to manage ownership of an asset is through an immutable distributed ledger, like a blockchain. And so if you think that a spreadsheet is the best place to manage your interests, that's not going to be the future. The future are the use of distributed ledgers to produce provable, immutable ownership of assets, so that you can then facilitate liquid marketplaces. This is what's going to happen. This is what I'm super excited about in 2021. We're doing dozens of these transformative real world asset to tokenized asset work with Dealbox, and we've got other clients on here, including ATS clients and partners like Everflow, who's I know listening in on this. And for those of us who have been working hard in both the tokenized asset, I refer to more as programmable asset, and the DeFi areas like what Alex is working on, there's finally a greater understanding of how this technology is used to do things that are other than just geeky blockchain stuff and other than just speculation on coin movements. And so it's a very big market. I'm super excited. And I know that we're all very busy right now doing things other than watching price movement. Price movement's super fun, but $1 trillion is peanuts, guys. Okay, Amazon's worth $1 trillion. Okay, think about everything. Okay, that's why we're excited about the future. So if you want, I'm Dave Hendricks. You just type that in, go to LinkedIn, go to vertalo.com. I'm looking forward to if you want to transform your company and produce liquidity without doing an IPO for your venture funded company, let's talk.
Any comments or questions for Dave?
Just that he's in Austin, so go Texas.
Go Texas. Or I should say, go Texas. So.
Hey, Dave, would you say that the US is more advanced? I thought I heard that, or you think Europe is more advanced in those things you're currently doing there?
I'll tell you why the US is more advanced. The US has a very, very well-established codified securities law infrastructure. It's where 50% of the world's equities are. It's got investor protections are a big part of that's the core principle of the SEC. The use of distributed ledger is an amazing tool for codifying and programming investor protection. And the world will follow the United States with respect to this. The difficulty with Europe is that while there's an EU, Germany has different laws than Switzerland, and they have different laws than Italy, and they have different laws than France. And there's data storage rules. You've got to have servers in every country if you want to do things in certain places. And US is an aggregated market. And while it's been easier to do certain things in certain Asian countries, I think that you'll see over the next 2 years that the US is going to rationalize and normalize the use of these technologies, not necessarily for ICOs, okay? Hopefully for DeFi, okay? But certainly for digitized and programmable securities. I'm convinced of it. My co-founder was a regulator at the SEC in trading and markets, and he wrote the concept paper for ATSs when he was at the SEC. We talk to these guys regularly. There's a lot of stuff happening that should benefit us. But it's not going to benefit a lot of rogue operators. So, I mean, it just depends on where you are. I like to work in the regulated rails because it's much bigger. There's a lot more money in it.
Thank you, Dave. Just a quick update. So we are getting questions from some of the attendees. So just to let everyone know, you can write it into the Q&A feature in Zoom, and we'll go over it probably in the last 10-15 minutes of the webinar.
Hey, Dave.
Go ahead, Jay.
Sorry, I just want to get some thoughts regarding the ST security token business. I don't know if you heard of Shares Post.
Of course,
yeah, because they also been doing this kind of business, but apparently it's not very successful. They have been merged with another company. What's your takeaway? Like how to make security, how to make digitized security business successful? Or what's your thought about why SharePost didn't succeed?
Well, SharePost just merged with Forge Global. Forge is a self-directed IRA platform, and that was so that people could take their IRAs and invest in private securities. Okay, like say late stage companies prior to IPO. There are examples like Palantir that just did a direct listing. And what Palantir did when they did their direct listing is they enabled their holders to tender 1/4 of their shares. They said, you can sell into this offering, but you can only sell 25% of your holdings. Tokenized digital assets, security tokens, whatever you call them, are programmatically, you can programmatically tender them. You can limit the number of shares that someone can sell from their options pool or based on their status. It's a fantastic way to enable secondary liquidity with controls so that you don't have to go through an expensive ROFR process at the company's finance department. The infrastructure exists to do this today. It's really getting the understanding between the broker dealer and custody rules, which were just updated on 12/22/2020, now enable this to be done in a way that couldn't be done before. Jay, we could talk about this for hours, but it hasn't been possible because it wasn't a good idea. It hasn't been possible because the rails were not laid to do this. By the way, Alex, this is coming right to DeFi because DeFi is, there's going to be a whole set of rails related to the liquidation of over leveraged positions in DeFi, which is going to send those to broker dealers who are then going to auction off those positions. And so in 2021, now with the regulations, Jay, you're going to be able to see companies enable the tendering of private shares for sale on North Capital, for sale on INEX, OFN, for sale on T0, on Everflow, on Texture. These are all partners of ours, okay? There will be private marketplaces. They didn't exist before, but SharesPost is a very successful company in helping employees and founders and investors in late stage private companies to sell their shares. But it's still inefficient. More efficient to do this with programmable assets via DLT.
Yeah, got you. Thank you. Yeah, SharePost, they were about to launch a platform to help the company to digitize the security, but that company called SharePost Glass that didn't wasn't very successful.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, and it was early. Okay, and I'll tell you that Matthew understands this. I know that John understands it. Alex understands it. I can't speak for the rest of you, but you have to be early to this, and you have to stick around. You have to keep on making it through the rounds of the tournament. You can't give up. Especially, this is such a great idea. You cannot give up on it.
Jay, that's a good segue for you. And you run a decentralized exchange. Jay, are you in Asia right now? Is it late there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thanks for joining.
Maybe I'm the only one outside America.
I think so, actually.
All right.
I'm in Europe right now, but normally I'm in the US, but it's late here too.
Yeah, Jay, would love for you to go next and share what you're working on at Loopring.
Oh yeah, sure. Hey guys, thanks for this opportunity, especially appreciate Irvine and Jeffrey to invite me. I met you guys 2 years ago, or I think 3 years ago, back in LA. So I moved to Sydney and Shanghai in 2018. I'm also a co-founder at the Loopring protocol, as well as an early crypto investors since 2013. About Loopring, Loopring is a decentralized exchange protocol funded back in 2017. We did a token sale. I think was the second largest token sale at the time. We raised about 120,000 ethers. But we did reform a bit our ethers because under some regulatory pressures in Asia. And also after 2 years development, we found to run a DeFi on layer 1 is very difficult, and especially to do a order book decentralized exchange is not very good idea. It's not very competitive on Ethereum layer 1. So we found another solution is to find our own scaling solutions. So we try sidechain, we try ZK rollup. So luckily, the ZK rollup is the way. I think it become one of the like very successful solutions right now, like mainstream adoptions. We can now use ZK rollup to scale the Ethereum TPS from like 15 and trades per second up to like 3,000 trade per second. We also launched a decentralized exchange on layer 2 with our own ZK Rob solutions. And meanwhile, I also run an incubator. So we are incubating some DeFi projects. And we are trying to share our experience in a local market here to help them to grow. Currently, we are working with some like wallet companies and the payment companies to help them to onboard on layer 2, so they can send the payment in a gasless way. If any of you guys are looking for some scaling of instant payment solutions, please come to talk to me. I'm really excited about this year. I think layer 2 will have a mass adoption. I think probably later this year we will see either ZK roll up or optimistic roll up will have a very good adoption.
Any questions or comments for Jay?
You must be very tired, Jay, not just because of what time it is, but because of how long you've been looking at candles. I can only imagine. It's a long time. It's very impressive that you look so young, and yet you've been through so many battles. So
what's the volume you guys handling right now? Like, what's the?
I think our TVL is almost I think it's almost 1 billion, and daily trading volume on our DEX, let me check, I think it was 10 million, because it's changed every day, especially in the past week. Vitalik has been shooting us, so seriously, the volumes like increase dramatically every day, so it's like double, triple every day. And there's a lot of companies, projects come to pitch us. I think, Alex, I think one of our BD guy talked to your team. Like, I think we already enabled the CEL to Ether pair on our DEX. So yeah, so there are a lot of projects come to pitch us, want to get on to layer 2. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to pay Binance $1 million to list sell tokens. So I committed not to pay any exchange a dime to list sell. So that's why we are number, I think, 9 right now on Uniswap volume, total earnings for the community, right? So we want to do the same thing with you guys. Just as long as all of the transaction fees go to the community, thumbs up. You know, that's what it's all about. So definitely let's take it offline and try to work on some stuff together.
Yeah, sure. We are also trying to working on a permissionless solutions to these communities.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jay. And Alex, you know, with community, with everything, John Nance, we've had multiple conversations. He's on a mission to democratize venture capital and you know, giving people access. John Nance with Dealbox.
Thanks, Jeff, and pleasure to be here with everybody. I've really enjoyed hearing from all of you. It brightens my day. Like Dave was saying, against price action in cryptocurrency markets, I'm more excited to hear from you guys about all the things you're working on, because it gets me more excited about the things we're doing individually as Dealbox and collectively. So thanks for having me, and I'm really honored to be on this panel with everybody. My name is John Nance. I'm the President and Chief Investment Officer here at Dealbox. Dealbox is a specialty capital markets consulting firm. That's our primary governance here. So we've kind of extrapolated that over the years into multiple verticals. We run a digital asset enabled online investment platform that competes with the likes of your traditional online investment platforms, Seed Invest, Start Engine, Our Crowd, all the names that a lot of people are familiar with here. But we do so in a lot more enabled way on the back end when it comes to digitizing cap tables. As you heard Dave Hendricks mention, full disclosure, Vertalo is the technology provider for the back end of the Dealbox marketplace. So Vertalo handles most of our issuance, our cap table management, all the really creative stuff we do on the back end for the clients that raise capital through our platform. And then the third thing that we do that's unique is we also have a venture fund inside the business. So you heard Dave allude to that. We're always looking for exciting projects to build out the venture fund here at the company. It's a relatively new initiative. We've been doing that for only about 8 months now, started in the first quarter of last year. But I guess personally myself, I've been in the crypto industry since 2013 as an investor, but I started my career as a financial professional. So I've been a derivatives trader, financial advisor, portfolio manager, all of those great things. And what really led me to DealBox and kind of what I'm excited about here to the second question that you guys would like me to share here is what the future of private market securities look like in terms of secondary transactions and life cycle management of these businesses. You know, I think about the things that Matthew was alluding to about, you know, the growth of ATSs and digital exchanges enabling these things. I think about Alex's comment about being, you know, jumping from the pond to the ocean. These are the things that we help our clients with, and why we're so different than your traditional online investment platform is the core of our business is consulting. And our consulting group, our analyst teams, our people are financial professionals. We've been a part of startups, exits, working through anything, whether it's a Reg D, a Reg S, a Reg A, an S1. We've done all of them. We've put together over 500 private placements now in the last 16 years. So I guess what I'll say is just circling back on what I'm most excited about. It is the growth of the secondary markets and how this technology, the DLT and the digitized assets in general are really enabling private companies to think more strategically about the life cycle management and growth of their businesses and what the impact that has on traditional investment banking, IPOs, public securities, and equities markets. So that's what I'm really thrilled about. As far as community help goes, I'm really just looking, as is the company, to connect with entrepreneurs like your guys' selves or anybody listening on the call today that needs help thinking through, you know, what life cycle management for your business looks like. One of our number one phrases here is building public company best practices around private companies. So if you're really passionate about your business, you have something that you really know can grow, you've raised capital, and you're starting to think about what does the long form look like of this business? That's what we do that's really more unique than your traditional investment bank or funding platform. We're here to help you think through the entire life cycle management of your cap tables, your liquidity, your fundraising, all of that. So if we can assist you with that, we would love to help you.
Very cool. Thanks, John.
That's great.
Go
I was just saying, John, please. Yeah, no, just say, John, my email is there. Maybe you want to reach out. I want to maybe have a chat with you the next few days. It would be great.
That'd be great. Dirk, sure thing.
We'll connect everyone after this mastermind. So yeah, it's awesome to see the synergies here.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask for that because I do get a lot of new projects that come to me or some older projects, and sometimes they're looking for funding or they have really great ideas and they don't know exactly where to go. So I do my best to try to link them on the back end with, you know, with reputable folks in the space and see if we can, you know, do some business together.
Thanks, Wendy. That'd be great.
Dirk, love what you're doing at Upland. I mean, you're selling virtual real estate online, and it's pretty awesome. The metaverse you've created. Would you like to go next?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so a little bit different than most of you on this panel here. So my name is Dirk. I'm one of the co-founders of Upland, and you know, back 2 years ago when I had a game night with my co-founders Manny and Idan, you know, we played this game Monopoly, and we had the idea how not bringing that, you know, got inspired by it, you know, bringing that idea to, you know, to the blockchain and to the gaming world. So we started out as a property trading game, because when you understand the game Monopoly, then you understand also how Upland works. But the thing is that we actually based on the real world. So our very simple pitch is Upland is a metaverse that sits on top of the real world where people play, earn, and connect. And when we set out and started Upland, we said from day one, we really want to reach a mass audience and not be, you know, geeky kind of app. So that's one of the reasons we are available across platform, you know, iOS, Android, on the web. We have fiat on-ramps for the app, and we also have, through our strategic partnership with Second Life, we're even fiat off-ramps. So people can sell their digital assets for fiat currency in our platform. And when I said we have these three pillars: play, earn, connect. Play means basically we have a couple of game engagement points in Upland. That means, for instance, you have to collect multiple properties which are based on real world borders. So currently we've launched for the cities of San Francisco, New York, and Fresno. And so we have treasure hunts and we have scavenger hunts. We have live events. Just on New Year's Eve, we had we have lots of things going on all the time, which is the play pillar. Then we have the earn pillar. Is obviously right now you can purchase properties in Upland. Of course, they are NFTs. That's the only product currently which we have, and we have a lot of people coming in. And of course, we have people who play the game, but people also who are speculating a lot. So to give you one example, so we just recently sold the New York Stock Exchange at the end of last month for $23,000. So as you can see, people give a lot of value to those digital assets. Then the third pillar is, and then this connect, where we're going to set up virtual settings where people can meet in virtual coffee shops and chat with each other. The earn component is also maybe to come to the next point is, what gets us excited or generally excited about what is going to happen. We earlier said right now in this panel here today that there's a lot of males, geeks in there, but I think what's very important is I think we have to go away from this purely, let's say, investing into coins and tokens and so on. That's in order to get to mass adoption, because it's very much when you want to compare it to the real world. So when you look at traders of stocks, they're predominantly male, and it's also only a small group. So what you need to do is actually to bring real world products into people's hands, which are based on blockchain, and give them really a meaning to it. And that's the whole idea about NFTs. So in Upland, we are adding actually a couple more features. Right now, we're just adding the possibilities that you can build on top of your properties. You can erect some buildings. Then you can actually run businesses in Upland. So you can sell virtual plants to other players and eventually make real money in Upland. So you become some kind of a virtual entrepreneur here. And going forward, we will have also, we already announced that, we're currently working on an NFT portal that will allow to import any type of NFT from other blockchains into Upland. First, demonstrate them and show them on your virtual walls, like a virtual art. Or digital art, and then eventually also we'll be able to trade them. And since we are based on the real world, we also want to blur it with the real world going forward. So if you think about all the tokenized assets, so let's say you have a tokenized Picasso, but you only own a token of that Picasso, so actually you cannot really do something with it. But how about showing the replica in Upland to others? So these kind of ideas we're currently playing around. Some of the stuff we are launching, some of the stuff has still lots of regulatory implications. We're completely aware of that. But 2020 was a very successful year for us. We are now the largest or second largest. We're fighting with one, a blockchain dApp out there, and where the community can help us. So we are looking for interesting, especially in the NFT space, because that's going to be one of our focus in the next 3 to 6 months. NFTs we can bring into Upland and eventually develop some interesting business relationships here.
Awesome. Dirk, I don't know how much you can share, but yeah, you've done considerable volume selling, virtual real estate. I'm blown away that you're really one of the use case scenarios where people are actually using the product.
Yeah. We have right now we have roughly 25,000 monthly active users. Roughly, just yesterday we broke 6,000 daily active users, which is small for gaming, but it's huge for blockchain. Actually, I think, as I said, right, it was first largest or second largest, depending how you look at the metrics. People we're very super proud of our community. They're super engaged, they're helping each other and so on. And that leads also to lots of activity, coming back to your point. So as I said, we only launched in San Francisco this year, in New York. So San Francisco's been sold out by 65-ish%. New York's been sold out 45%, and Fresno's been sold out by 60% also. So soon we have to launch new cities as we onboard more users. We haven't done a lot of marketing yet because we want to add some more features, but eventually in the second quarter, we will ramp up much more heavily.
Dirk, you sound a lot like Facebook to me.
Facebook?
Yeah, right? Look at it. You're like, I'm not Facebook. You're saying you think that that's a criticism. It's quite the opposite. Facebook started out just like you. They started out with one university, and they went to the next one, and they added in new features, and they had all these things, and people didn't understand why Facebook was so interesting. But then, they started. It was very similar to the way that they kind of colonized over time. So.
Yeah, that's our approach, right? Because people always feel, right now we have a lot of international players, but once we go to Boston, Houston, or, smaller cities, Marseille, Paris, wherever in the world, or Seoul, we will have a lot of local communities. And we already see that people gather together. So Upland has a very big social component where people are doing things together. That's the reason why we have this third pillar, and eventually we will have the same kind of approach like Facebook. However, our philosophy is to be really decentralized at the end of the day, and not to work like Facebook in a centralized manner, of course.
Yeah. And so we have a poll up, actually. Mahbod, if you can drop some wisdom next. You've scaled some incredible consumer applications, Rap Genius, and also Everpedia. But we'd love for the wisdom of the crowds to come together and kind of, what do you think is the best marketing channel for user adoption for all of your projects in 2021? And Mahbod, would love to have you go next.
And also, real quick, before Mahbod jumps in, it's also open to attendees to also write those, answer those polls. But go ahead, Mahbod.
Yeah, so Everpedia didn't start as a crypto project, but the reason we got into crypto is because of the reason I started investing in crypto was because with Genius, I started to understand that it's not good to rely on volunteer content creators for the internet. It's not fair to the creators. And on Genius, you get points. When you annotate the lyrics to songs, you get IQ points. The points are called IQ. So with Everpedia, when we got Brock Pierce involved and we decided to decentralize, have our own cryptocurrency to give to content creators, we named our token the IQ token, because the points, Everpedia used to have points too. They were also named after IQ, kind of an inspiration from Genius. So Everpedia is trying to dominate the content creator crypto game. We're building other dApps on the IQ token. What I'm doing with Ozone, which I started a few months ago, we have a very, very good CEO who was a former executive at Google and Facebook. We kind of want to do the flip side of what Everpedia is doing. We want content consumers to start getting crypto for their data. So that's how Ozone right now, it's still very, very basic. It's in beta. Right now, you basically can get money for inviting others. And then also we have some tasks from our clients, like surveys that you take, you get crypto for that. But eventually we want to make it into the center for what Andrew Yang calls the data dividend. Any way that we can get you money for your data, we're going to do it. And then you can cash out in Bitcoin. And hopefully, eventually, we get our own token the way that Everpedia has it. But I think it's really exciting stuff. We've got some people who are starting to go down this route. Like what I think is a huge inspiration is Cash App. Cash App is like the one crypto-related thing that is cool. It's starting to just make a brand for itself of being cool, which no one else has really been able to do yet. And then there's a company run by my friends called Lolly, where Lolly lets you get crypto coupons. So that's kind of the direction we want to go in. But then we're also going to make you be able to do surveys and all kinds of fun things. Like our first client is Kush Queen. They make CBD products. And right now we have a giveaway for CBD bath bombs. You go, you sign up, you give some information to Kush Queen, and then you get a sample for free. So it's really exciting stuff. I think that crypto is the future of the internet, but then like Wendy said, a big part of our mission that we haven't done yet, that we're starting to do this year, is we need to make it so that a 5-year-old can understand it. And that's what crypto is missing a lot. Like with Everpedia, one of my frustrations is that it's really, really hard to use. And like, you know, the CEO of Celsius, it's really good to meet you. It's funny, I was going to ask you like, hey, I tried to set up my Celsius account and I wasn't able to do it. Do you think I could get some help? But then I guess you're the CEO, so I'm asking for too much. But
I do customer service every day.
please,
Why,
yeah, hook me up.
my email is on my name, because I like when people actually email me directly. It tells me right away when there's a problem. I'm on it the same day instead of hearing about it 3 weeks later when the employees finally cough it up, you know?
Yeah, one of the most frustrating things for me is when people tell me, hey, I tried to make my wiki page on Everpedia, but it didn't let me sign up. And it just drives me crazy. With Genius, I never have that problem. Genius always works because it's not crypto, so it's not as complicated. But with crypto, I know that it's complicated, but we still have to do our best to make it simple. I think it's because a lot of the developers working on crypto right now, we have a lot of idiot savants. We have a lot of people who are geniuses, but they don't have the common touch that Mark Zuckerberg had. Like, you know, everyone hates on Mark Zuckerberg, but Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who got everyone to use the internet.
Yeah, just
I'm still kind
remember
of counting on him
Facebook,
to be the one who gets everyone to use the crypto.
Facebook was the last social network, not the first one. So, you know, if you watch the video, the movie about Zuckerberg, you see that when he started the company at the whiteboard and he copied everything from every other social network possible.
Yeah, I remember Friendster and MySpace, but then he's the one who brought it all together. So we need a crypto Zuck. Maybe Zuck is going to be crypto Zuck.
I don't think so.
This is why you guys need to hire me to consult for customer service for your clients.
Alex, I was in a Twitter battle last night with somebody saying, "Oh, you know, customer service on Celsius." Like, you guys have one of the best Celsius customer service there, and just like, oh, the community.
So we 4x'd in December, and now we suck. I gotta admit it. I mean, we have like 15,000 open tickets, and we went from like 11 hours. We solved every ticket in 11 hours to something like 3 or 4 days. So I admitted on Twitter, I admitted defeat on Twitter, but it's all because of, you know, tens of thousands of people who joined. So I'm struggling to scale up right now. It's not
great problem to have, Alex. You know, that
great problem.
Yeah, but it also shows you, like, again, it is, you know, like you guys, all of you said, that unless you build it to like self-service and you solve all these issues with helping the customer get to the finish line, the solution is not 1,000 agents in like Coinbase have. You know, it's you got to really simplify, and that's much harder than just adding agents.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys with the customer service. The support tickets that you're getting, are they, what is the majority or the bulk of them? Just out of curiosity, what are they asking for help with?
It's everything. I mean, this wave is a lot of newbies, and they ask simple questions like, why do you need my driving license? You know, and like,
I have a solution for that.
Right, you can use the phone number and so on, but
no, I have a better solution for that. That takes the workload off of you guys.
Well, let's talk. I'm happy, always open to new ideas. We also, you know, neglected to say that we're looking to hire anyone. We need to add another 100 or 150 people. So anyone who thinks you want to be part of Celsius, come join us. And we're looking to buy companies. Maybe we'll solve some of these problems by acquiring a bunch of companies. So happy to listen to any idea that anyone has.
Yeah, the hardest thing is onboarding. Onboarding is a real challenge. Reason to my opinion is the reason why Coinbase was so successful, regardless of what anyone thinks about their API or this or that, was because they made buying crypto very similar to America Online. if anyone's old enough to remember America Online, that was a bridge to the internet without you having to learn how to use a dial-up modem. And the crypto wallet, MetaMask wallet, etc., is the technical equivalent of dial-up modem. And it's very, very hard for people to use, to manage. And then you combine that with having to provide identity credentials, it's tough. And we have a technology problem in the industry, and everyone's still focused on the technology because we haven't solved it rather than the benefits. And that's why it's still geeky, Wendy. It's super geeky because you gotta be you gotta be a nerd like John is. I mean, John Nance, that guy, he looks, he doesn't look like a nerd, but that guy's a master. He's he looks like
Dave.
Dave, you should try Upland. So we obfuscated really everything away from the user. Right now, with us, you only need an email and a password and a username, but no private key, no wallet, and nothing. So that's the only way you can adopt really the mass market. Otherwise, I think it always stays in this little geeky community, right? That's so important to use existing.
We touch dollars. Yeah, we touch dollars. So we have to.
Right.
We have a much higher bar for compliance and for KYC, ML, and stuff like that. So, I mean, we have people that it's unbelievable, right? I mean, I have strangers that just do KYC and then send us $10 million or $15 million. It's like, like even when we started Celsius, we did not expect that, like complete trust, right? So it's so that's the good news, right? You when you ask, okay, can we the community compete with the banks? The answer is yes. But when to Wendy's point, can we compete with any banking app? No, the answer is we're not there yet. Even Coinbase is not there yet. So we have a lot of work to do.
And I'll add on that, just with Alex, I'm in the same boat as Alex. Anything you touch dollars. I mean, we're registered with FinCEN, SEC. Like, there's no playing around with regulators. And if you're not, look, in 2000, for the decentralized exchanges, I get it, but really, you have to be in 2021. If you're in crypto, you've got to be a compliance company too. There's there's different kinds of crypto, but there's no way around it. If you're trying to circumvent it, then talk to BitMEX, and some others that are basically they're basically like targets on their backs. But I think the future is going to include this sort of PayPal-esque experience of custody solution because grandma needs an easy way in and out of crypto, and you want it to be to where she can't lose it because it can be complicated. But also then layering in these decentralized wallets so you can get the best of both worlds. So you know who your customer is, you're still managing the AML, KYC stuff, but you're giving customers a technology solution so they can have decentralized or custody solutions. And as long as you're giving the customer the option, then you're providing a better service than the bank ever will.
Yep. Guys, I got to drop off. I'm late from 3 o'clock. So, but thanks for having us and chat with you later. Let's do some follow-ups here.
Yeah, so thanks, Alex. Just to wrap up, I know we had a great conversation. We'll pick it back up. We have another blockchain mastermind this Thursday, January 21. So let's continue from there. We'll be sending over introductions to everybody. Thank you, Alex, for your time. And just, those polls, we got the number one channel, best channel for marketing in 2021 for user adoption is actually influencers.
It's Wendy.
Wendy.
Wendy's a winner. Yay.
That's what I do. I help guys like you do transparent marketing to the masses. And I have a large network, and that's what we specialize in. Sometimes I work with the PR company. Sometimes I handle it myself. I do have an LLC called Beyond Associates. And yeah, we disclose and we get you guys brand exposure in a transparent and organic way. We do not use companies that work with bots. We get you guys exposure, and I'm happy to help you guys and help you guys expand to TikTok as well. I know it sounds a little cringy, but it works.
Wendy, thank you for what you do. And also I want to thank everybody for joining, being a part of this panel. There are a lot of attendees here that want to get connected. I'm literally seeing a lot of the questions. So within the next 24 hours, I'm going to send those questions to each of the individual panels it's directed to, and then we can send a follow-up to all the attendees, and that way we get all the all the questions answered. Last bit, thank you for joining us for this mastermind, and we'll continuously host these. if you want to get connected to, exactly like the panelists that we had on this mastermind and to connect with more people like these, definitely, set up a call with us here at Crowdcreate. This is what we do. We help people get connected to projects and, project connected to passionate people and people that love what they're doing. So thank you so much for joining and looking forward to seeing everyone on the next blockchain and crypto mastermind.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you for
everyone.
having me.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.